Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my channel. My name is Hatifa Amini. I want to talk history about Palestinian and Israel. Declaration of the State of Israel. The completed history of Palestine and Israel on May 15, 1948, when Jewish leaders declared the establishment of the State of Israel. This erased the region of the Palestinians, Arab, and war broke out. In the Al-Nakba war, which is defined as a corpus, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled their homes. After a year, Israel has managed to control most of the territory. Jordan then occupies the area called the West Bank, while Egypt controlled Gaza, while the area of Jerusalem is divided in half with Israel, where the east is controlled by Jordan and the western area is part of Israel. The Israel-Palestinian conflict is not a simple two-state conflict, as if all Israel or even all Israel Jews have the same view, while all Palestinians have the opposite view. In the both communities, there are people and groups who advance total territorial of the exclusion from the other. Some advance a two-state solution, and some advance a two solution with one secular state that includes present-day Israel, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. Since the Oslo Accords, the governments of Israel and the Palestinian National Authority have officially been determined to finally arrive a two-state solution. The status and future of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, which includes the territories of the proposed State of Palestine, Israel security, Palestinian security, the essence of the future state of Palestine, the fate of Palestinian Pharaohs, the Israel government's settlements police, and the fate of the residents of those settlements, sovereignty over the holy cities in Jerusalem, including the Temple Mount and the Western Wailing Wall complex. The first problem arose as a result of the 1948 Arab-Israel War. The issue of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem emerged as the result of the Six-Day War in 1967. Palestine, such as Hamas, Islamic Jihad, or the People's Front for the Liberation of Palestine will emerge from the power vacuum if Israel separates from Gaza. The history of the conflicts between Palestine and Israel can be said to have occurred since Britain established a national home for the Jewish minority in Palestine. At the time, Britain was known to take over the Palestinian territories from the rule of the Ottoman Empire, which lost in World War I. For the Jewish minority, the area is their coastal homeland. Palestinian Arabs, who make up the majority, also claim the same thing. The Jewish population continue and increase in the Palestinian territories between the 1920s and 1914s Meanwhile, violence between Jews and Arabs also increased until the United Nations, or UN, divided the Palestinian territories into two, for the Palestinians, Jews and Arabs in 1947. The following is a guest contribution and reflects the other view alone. For information on how to submit an article to opinion section, in the wake of the recent comfort agreements between Israel and Hamas, we welcome to help to hostilities. We marked the 253 Palestinian and 12 Israeli killings with profound sadness for each life lost, and we acknowledge the effort and pain of many members of our community who have friends and family in Palestine and Israel. For decades, Al-Amari has been a stronghold of Fatah, the secular and nationalist party that emphasizes diplomacy as its answer to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. But in the recent days, the table in a camp has shifted. Green flag mark the acres and graffiti too much emblazons the whole with a single word: Hamas. Civil war in mandatory Palestine. Area signed for a Jewish state. Area signed for an Arab state. Planet corpus spartum with the intention that Jerusalem would be neither Jewish nor Arab. Israel controlled territory from 1949. Egyptian and Jordania controlled territory from 1948 until 1967. The PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, was first established in 1964 under the Charter, including a commitment to the liberation of Palestine, which will destroy the Zionist and imperialist presence. PLO Charter Article 22, 1968.